Would you all like to be able to pay yourselves more money? Would you like to clear off all your bank loans? Would you like to redecorate your salons? Would you like to bring in new equipment and new machinery that you might see here today? So it all really comes down to having more money. So I have a phrase of mine that I'm really fond of, and it's called, oh, no, I've gone too far, we'll go back one. Turnover is vanity and profit is sanity. Those of you that own businesses, do you sleep well at night when you don't have any money in your bank? Just how stressed are you when your business is in an overdraft? How stressed are you when you can't pay your loans? How stressed are you when your columns aren't full and people aren't, and you're working with you, your team's working with you, aren't rebooking your clients, and you don't know who's going to come in next week or if you're going to be able to pay your bills at the end of next week? Profit is just so important. Cash is king. And if you want to enjoy your business, then you've really got to bring it into profit, because otherwise the stress is just too much for you. So turnover is vanity and profit is sanity. So do you want to be sane or do you want to be vain? Now, I have a favour to ask all of you before we start, and that is really, can you start to use me and utilise me a little bit more? I'm standing up here today and I'm asking you to use me. My website, lizmckeon.com, is just loaded with free material and free resources for you. I'm in the industry now over 30 years. I ran a business where 4 out of every 5 clients rebooked. I ran a business where 70% of my turnover came from retail. I work with salons all over the world, day in, day out, and I have developed all the problems and all the queries that you have, all the business things that are holding you back. I have developed all the answers for you, and they're there for you to download on my website. So just to go through it, I have an ebook for you, 13 of your top business challenges. Please download it and read it. I have a podcast series, so if you don't have time to read, I have a podcast series, a 10-day podcast series, where every day you get a little podcast for 5 minutes. Surely you can listen to that in the car on your way into work. In 2016, I took on a big challenge in the UK, and I took a salon in Leamington Spa and said that I would double its profits in 2 weeks for less than £200. And this is all filmed, and it's called the £200 Salon Turnaround. And the £200 Salon Turnaround, again, is a free resource on the homepage of my website. I didn't double the profits in 2 weeks. We actually got the profits up 12 times. Now, if you could increase your profitability by 12 times, does that make your life a little bit more enjoyable and a little bit more pleasurable? So please have a look at the Salon Turnaround. I also have a free business health check. So if you're unsure, if your business isn't going right and you're unsure where your own business skills are falling down, I have a business health check. You can just go on. It takes about 10 minutes to fill it out, and it just tells you, is it staffing I'm not getting right? Is it the money I'm not getting right? What business area of it am I falling down on? So please start to use me an awful lot more. So today I'm going to talk about the 5 steps that I have to building your profits up. I stood on this stage for the first time 2 years ago, and I said, I told the story about a lady who had come to a workshop of mine once that I ran for a skincare company, and this lady came and she wrote down all her notes for the day, and it was all about increasing your turnover, filling your columns up and getting more retail. So we spoke about that for the whole day. She came back to another event that I was doing about 3 months later, and halfway through the day, the second day was a marketing day, and halfway through the day she put her hand up and she said, I have something to tell you. She said, when I met you last November, I decided that everything you told us to do that day was so simple that it couldn't possibly work. And she said, I left with the intention of proving you wrong because I knew I was going to come back and meet you today. So she said, I did everything you told us to do, and I wanted to see what was going to happen. Because she said, I felt it couldn't happen because everything you told us to do was so simple. So I took a deep breath and I said to her, well, okay, tell me what's happened. And she said, my turnover has doubled. And I said, well, what's happened to your retail? And she said, it has trebled. So please take on board what I am saying. So anything I give you is fairly simple, easy to follow, but it's very, very effective. You're in business to make money. You're in business to give yourselves a better quality of life. And if the money isn't right, that doesn't happen. That's why profitability becomes so important. So the first step when I'm working with a salon, the first thing that I will do is have a look at the customer service. You know, I was in a salon last week and the girls were saying, I was saying, what do we need to get the money up? And they were saying to me, well, she needs to do more advertising. She needs to put more out on social media. And I'm saying, well, maybe she does. But what can every single one of you sitting around here today, what can all of you do to improve the quality of your customer service? So what can you do to improve your customer service? Yes, we have to sell. Yes, we have to increase the profitability, but I don't want anybody here to be under pressure and feeling that all day, every day. But if you were to start your day every day with doing everything you possibly can to make sure that your clients, number one, leave feeling happy. Number two, plan on when they're coming back. And number three, are happy to recommend you. Do you think your columns will be full? Do you think your clients will buy their products? Do you think your clients will want to return to your business? And most importantly, will your clients become your salespeople? Because the more you can make your clients your salespeople, the more you can reduce what you are spending on marketing. Does that make sense? And you can do all the marketing and you can do all the advertising you want, but it's expensive and it's time consuming. As a rule of thumb, your marketing spend per year should not be any more than 10% of your turnover. So if your client retention isn't high enough, you're all the time trying to get new clients to come back in. But if you can improve your customer service, if you can wow us from start to finish, job done. Now, I don't do services anymore, but I do spend a lot of time in salons. I do get to do a lot of mystery client shopping. I do get to be the customer. And most of the time, if I can give you this feedback, most of the time the treatments are superb, but the customer service is poor. So it doesn't matter how good your treatments are, if your customer service is down here and your treatments are up here, we're not coming back. So what is it that you want? Do you want us coming back and spending more money more often? Or do you want to be killing yourself all the time trying to get new clients, new clients, new clients, clients coming once and not returning? Now, you've got to start dealing in facts. Again, I was in a salon recently and I was saying to them, look, how many people actually rebook here before they leave? And it was like, Liz, everybody rebooks. And I said, no, everybody doesn't rebook. How many rebookings are you getting? Well, at least 8 to 9 out of 10. And when I looked on the reports, it was 22%. It was 2 out of 10. You've got to give us a reason to come back. Okay? So first thing to do, if you want your profitability up, look at your customer service and look at it through the client's eyes and do everything, and I mean everything in your power to make sure that we leave feeling happy, looking forward to coming back and happy to recommend you. So whatever you have to do to change your customer service to make sure that happens, and that is not about the treatment, that is about how you take care of us. Start, middle and end. I have a chapter in my book and it's called, the first chapter in my book is about making a good first impression. You get 7 seconds to make a good first impression. And within that 7 seconds, we decide one of 3 things. We either like you, we don't like you, or we're a bit indifferent about you. So if I like you, I'm coming back. If I like you, I like your business. If I don't like you, I don't like your business. If I don't like you, I'm not coming back. If I'm a bit indifferent about you, it's really because you're a bit indifferent about me, and I'll just pop in and out an odd time until I find somebody who does actually care about me. Does that make sense? So you've got to wow me in those 7 seconds. Then you've got to make sure I have a fantastic time and that nothing else in the world matters. Nothing matters except that client that's on that bed and how you take care of them and what you do to make sure that they are having an amazing time. And then you've got to make sure that I have a really nice time leaving. I've got to leave walking out the door planning when I'm coming back. And I am a great believer in rebooking because rebooking frees you up from so many other stresses. If you get your clients to rebook, you can do your orders. If you get your clients to rebook, then you know who's coming in and when they're coming in. You can plan your rotas, you can plan your rosters, you know the amount of staff that you want. And most importantly, if you can get your clients to go away and talk about you, 40% of business in this industry is generated through word of mouth. So anything you can do to increase your word of mouth opportunities is worth doing. Because anything that increases your word of mouth opportunity means that you're doing a good job. Because why would a customer recommend you if they weren't happy? So number one thing is get your customer service right. Number two is to actually pay more attention to the money. Okay? Cash flow is king. Now, when I work in retail shops or outlets, everybody is planning. They're all on a target. Everybody knows what they have to make every day. When I'm working in a salon or when I'm working in a spa, it seems to be you're waiting to see at the end of the day what you took in. You're not planning forward with the money nearly enough. You're not using targets. The biggest feedback that I get from your teams is, I wish she would just tell me what she expects from us. I wish she would just tell me what she wants. So if you want me to perform, if you want me to be a return on the investment that you've made in me and all the training and everything else that you put into your team to make sure that they're really firing on all cylinders, then you've got to tell me how much money you want me to make. And you've got to leave it simple. The simpler it is, the easier it is. When I work with targets, I chunk it down to an hourly rate. I don't give people targets for a month. I don't give them targets for a week. I give them targets for a day on services, and then I break it down. So I need you to make £50 an hour, £60 an hour, £30 an hour, whatever it is. So every hour that you're here today, you're here for 8 hours. I want you to sell those hours at £50 each. So therefore that's £400. Now do you know what I expect from you? Does that make sense? So you've got to have a handle on the money to make sure that the people around you have a handle on the money. In relation to retail, and this morning is not about retail, but I think anybody who knows me knows I am a serious advocate of increasing your retail in your businesses for so many reasons. One of them being that you increase your clients' loyalty 4 times when they buy their home care from you. Okay? So I go into salons all the time. I want to buy and you don't want to sell to me. I don't know what that's about. I don't know why you won't take my money. I don't know why you want to give me things for free. Somebody actually recently just gave me 10% discount because they had changed an appointment about 4 weeks prior to that, and then they said, well, we're giving you 10% discount. I said, I really don't need or want 10% discount. No, we're actually giving it to you. So if you could give us what you do for free, you would do it. I know you would. Your team's working with you definitely would. And I struggle in all the salons I go into, I struggle to spend my money. You don't want my money. I don't know why you don't want it, but you don't want it. But you've got to get on the money because I will value what you do so much more. So there's a whole big background here around why people in salons don't want to take the client's money, make it very difficult for us to spend money, but I think it's time for you all to get out of your way and just go for the money. Now, I work in salons, as I was saying, all the time, and sometimes I'll sit in a salon with a team and I'll say to them, what's going to make this business really, really successful? And I could get, the coffee, nice treatments, new treatments, our new machine. I get all sorts of reasons, but actually, what is going to make your business successful? High sales will make your business successful. Low sales is going to be detrimental to the survival of your business. Does that make sense? So we were all salespeople. We don't get to do what we love doing if we can't sell what we're doing. So you need to be on the money, and your teams need to be on the money. And you need to plan your day at the start of the day and decide how much money you need to take in every day. As a rule of thumb, your therapists, I assume you're all beauty. Have we any hair people here today? Nearly all beauty. As a rule of thumb, your therapists need to generate 4 times their take-home pay, okay, in order to warrant working in your business. So 4 times your take-home pay is the rule of thumb. Why do I say 4 times your take-home pay? If you're paying me £200, you've got to find the £200. Then you've got to pay me for going on training. You've got to pay employer's contribution, all that sort of thing. You need another £200. Products and professional stuff and machinery and all that doesn't just land on trolleys. That has to be purchased. So I've got to find another third for that, or another quarter for that. And then this industry moves at a great rate. You're here today to research new products, research new machinery, research new skincare brands, makeup brands, all that sort of thing. If I don't contribute another quarter, you don't have the money in the kitty to do that. And I meet far too many therapists who think if they just cover their wages, that's the job done. Why is she always going on about money? I more than covered my wages last week. So I say things like, and how much more did you cover your wages? And they go, I went a whole £10 of my wages, and she's still on my case. And I say, well, how long are you here? And I normally get, well, I'm only here 18 months. I'm only here 2 years. And I say, well, that's great, but I actually would have sacked you about a year and 9 months ago, because nobody can afford to carry you. So the money is really, really important. And if you're the business owner or the business manager, you're the person who has got to drive it. So instead of being worried about the money or being frightened about the money, I'm going to ask you to put more focus and attention on making the money, on minding the money, and on managing the money. Okay, sounds simple, isn't always that easy. This is a phrase from the book. Every sale has 5 basic obstacles. No need, no money, no hurry, no desire, and no trust. Okay, get over that and you're fine. But if your customer service is really good, that's not a problem. Every obstacle you just get over it. Every obstacle you just get over. And if I can give you one bit of feedback, is that your teams give up far too soon. Say to somebody, how much is that? I have no idea why in salons, if you say how much is that, that equates to she has no money, I shouldn't have said anything, I'm really embarrassed now, she has no money here, and I've only asked how much is it, okay? So you are employing therapists, but actually you're also employing salespeople. And the biggest challenge that I have when I'm working with the team is to get people to understand and to realise that they are actually a salesperson first and a therapist second. What is my job if I'm a therapist? My job is to do treatments, yes, but my job is actually to build a client base. My job is to run a profitable column. My job is to get the clients to rebook. My job is to upsell somebody who comes in for a single service up to a course of treatments. My job is to patch test. My job is to sell everything that's on the price list. My job is to make sure that when you leave my business, you never, ever, ever want to go anyplace else. Does this make sense to you? Okay? So sales and client acquisition. And again, if you're on the money, this is something worth figuring out. I wouldn't know about any of your businesses here today, but a lot of the businesses that I work in, it generally costs between 70 to £100 to actually get that customer to pick the phone up the first time. So it costs £100, up to £100 between marketing, advertising, social media, your website, your signage, your brochures, all the effort that you put in to getting a client to pick the phone up and to call you once. If that client just comes into you, has a single treatment, has a nice time and leaves, well then, if she doesn't spend at least £100, you've actually lost money in acquiring that client. Okay? So you need a plan for client acquisition, and I probably have this the wrong way around. It should probably say client acquisition and sales. So a plan to acquire your clients, a plan to get your clients in, and then a plan to actually make sure that they continue to buy from you. If a client books in with you for, I don't know, half leg wax, how many other places within a 30-minute drive can that client get a half leg wax? How many other places can she go for that? So this pie is shrinking, isn't it? I know the industry is in a very, it's at a very good level at the moment, and clients are spending and the consumer's very savvy and all that. But the competition that's out there at the moment is pretty vicious. Would you agree with that? The Guardian newspaper, they say 12 new salons open a day, every day, in the United Kingdom. So you've got to stay ahead, and the easiest way to acquire new clients and the easiest way to upsell is to make sure that you're on top of your game and that you do the very best job you can possibly do with every single therapist that's on your team. That doesn't mean that if you're running the business or you own the business, this is another phenomenon I can't quite understand. If you own the business while you're the busiest and the people working with you aren't as busy as you, I don't understand that at all. I think that should be completely the other way around, that the people working with you should be the ones earning the money and you should be the one counting it and spending it and looking after it. So if you can get your team over these 5 basic obstacles, is there any reason that your bank account won't just fill up? Now I want to talk to you very briefly about your teams. We are all only as good as the people around us, so surround yourself with the best. And I know we're in difficult times in terms of acquiring really, really good team members at the moment. But you're in serious difficulties if you haven't got really good people around you. So if you want your business to be the best, then you've just got to look for the cream. And then you've got to take care of them. So you find the best people, you train them to be the standard you need them to be, and then you manage them. Okay? You look after them and you manage their performances. And when I go to a salon to work for a day, very often our phone will ring in the office and people will say, I want you to come and I want you to teach my team how to sell, how to fill their columns and how to sell retail. And I'd say, yeah, okay, that's fine, I'll do all that, and I'll do that in the morning. And then I want to work with you in the afternoon to actually organise how you're going to manage and improve their performances going forward. And often people will say, oh no, it's okay, you don't need to work with me, I just need you to work with the team. And I say, well, that's fine, now I'm not coming. Because if I just turn up and I work with the team, they will be really good for about 3 or 4 weeks and then they'll go backwards. Okay? You've got to have what I call a performance management plan, that you actually work with your team members every single day, about their columns, about the productivity, about the opportunities in their column, the opportunities with their clients, and then it becomes fairly limitless where your business can go. Last week I did I was the judge for the UK Hair Beauty Awards in the retail sales category, and I had one person in that, and she actually made enough money from retail to save enough money to buy her house and to redecorate her salon. I promise you, I go into your salons and I see the money just leaking out. Now you've got to take those leaks and just fix all those leaks so that the money can just keep gushing in, because it's there, because the consumer wants to spend these days, so you've got to make sure that they spend. Okay, very quickly, and I put notebooks and pens in your bags. I want to call out a list of how to know a really good therapist, and I want you to score them from 0 to 10 very quickly. They smile and they have a sense of humour. They are naturally friendly. They are always polite. They always follow up. They wear their uniform with pride and perfection. They ask their clients what they want. They take their client's budget into consideration. They offer an opinion and they give a recommendation. If they can't help, they tell the client. And number 10, they ask for the sale. So if your team could score 10 out of 10, in that list is your money and your profitability going to increase. So the people around you need a little bit of attention. Number 5, you. Okay? To look at your leadership skills. And not to frighten you, but this industry has the second highest failure rate of all industry sectors. And the number one reason for that is poor management skills. So if you want to keep your business safe, then you've got to look at your own leadership and your own management skills. I'm a lifelong student of the subject of motivation and management, and the conclusion that I've come to about motivation and management is, if I say to you, how often do you eat your dinner? How often do you take a shower? You're going to say to me, every day. But if you have a team, you manage and you motivate every day. If management skills are something that are a bit of a challenge to you, again, we have all the answers. Please go onto my website. I do workshops. I have gifts in your bag, all sorts of things to help you improve your leadership skills. But if you want the money right, then please have a look at your own management skills. Okay, so to summarise, if you want to increase your profitability, have a look at your client service journey. For those of you that don't have my book, you need to get my book. All the information is in this. Money, manage your cash flow. Teach your team to sell. If you don't know how to teach them, the answers are in your bag today. They're on my website or they're at my workshops. Surround yourself with the best people, and don't just be an okay boss, be an amazing boss.